Hey, it's Dr. Daniel here from the Neuropathy Clinic at Fix Me, and people ask all the time, why do I have neuropathy? And when they are speaking with their physicians, it's well, you have damage to your nerves. Yeah, absolutely, sure. It's damage to your nerves. That's a symptom. Patients are asking about the cause. And so, one word, inflammation. Inflammation is the enemy of healing. Inflammation is the enemy of health. And what I mean by that is we'll bring it back to the middle, which is the metabolic system, and talk about the gut. The gut is the opening to the exit, including our sinuses. And so that system is the primary mediator of immune functions, primary mediator of cognitive function. It is the primary mediator for inflammation control in the body. And so once we get some sort of inflammation going, the fire burning in our metabolic system, then that means its functions that I mentioned, immune function, cognitive function, and of course, inflammatory control are reduced. And once they're reduced to the point where the inflammation can grow, meaning the fire can burn at a level that's high enough, then other things start shutting down. And so when we talk about neuropathy, we're talking about we have some sort of metabolic issue, which again is inflammation. That inflammation then leads to damage to the circulatory system, which leads to decreased circulation. The blood flow drops. And then, of course, when we're talking about nerve damage, the neurological system, that blood is vital to provide oxygen and nutrients so that the nerves can maintain and repair themselves. Those nerves are getting inadequate circulation around them, inadequate blood flow around them. We're not getting oxygen, we're not getting nutrients, and then the nerves are unable to maintain and repair themselves. And so the insulation, which is wrapped around those nerves, called the myelin sheath, that insulation will start to break down. And then we have symptoms. So I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. I'll probably talk about it a million times more because most people don't know. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in front of me. You would still be suffering. Is that the symptoms are the last thing to show in a chain of events. The first thing is that inflammation. And so we have to figure out how to put out the inflammation. We have to understand what's causing the inflammation. So you have to be able to ask yourself questions. We have special surveys which rate the level of inflammation in the body, in the gut, so that we know how hard we have to work. We know what needs to be done because you can make somebody feel better, but not drop the inflammation low enough that the body can start healing, meaning increases circulation so that it can start repairing itself. And that, again, that's just not just nerves either. I mean, that's soft tissues. So very often in neuropathy, we see patients that lose toes, feet, legs. All of that comes back to that cascade of events. And so without the blood, which is providing the nutrients and the oxygen for the body to heal itself and to restore itself, things break down, whether it's the myelin sheath around the nerves or whether it's the soft tissue in our feet or legs, and we get ulcers, and that leads to damage, leads to more amputation. All of that is extremely important. And so inflammation is the fire, is the match that lights the fire. It's the inciting event, it's the initial event. And so if somebody has a gut problem, if somebody has rheumatoid arthritis, that's a gut problem. Somebody has fibromyalgia, that's a gut problem. Somebody has irritable bowel syndrome, gut problem. Ulcerative colitis, gut problem. That means there's inflammation going on that needs to be addressed. Now, the issue is that can cause other problems. It's going to decrease circulation over time. It's going to lead to damage to the myelin sheath if it's severe enough, if that insulation around the nerves. And so you always have to come back to the beginning. You have to come back to the starting point to understand what's going on. And so where is that inflammation coming from? Very often it's type 2 diabetes. I would say probably almost half the time. Not all the time, certainly, but about half the time. And so patients are told, hey, take this medication, Jardiance, Trulicity, insulin, metformin, right, all the diabetic medications they have. Your numbers look great. Your A1C looks great. Your blood sugars look great, or at least very good. That's on paper. the fire is still burning. The analogy I use all the time is you say, God forbid, your home is on fire. You call 911. The fire truck comes out. The fires pile off the truck, go running into your home. Fire alarms are blaring. You're like, thank goodness, firefighters here. They're gonna save our home. And then you hear one fire alarm turn off, another fire alarm. So you hear the fire alarms turning off. So you assume that the fire is being put out. And actually what's happening is that the firefighters are just taking the fire alarms off the wall, and they come outside and say, look, problem solved. Fire alarms aren't going off any longer. We've disabled them. Meanwhile, your house continues to burn. That's what medication does. Medication may control symptoms. It doesn't control inflammation. It's always symptoms, whether we're talking about fibromyalgia or Crohn's. Those medications do not solve the problem. They manage the problem. And so we're not here to manage issues. We want to solve issues. We're not here to manage inflammation. We're here to crush it, kill it, drive it out so that the body can work like it's supposed to. And so we spend quite a bit of time speaking with patients about inflammation in the body. Whether, again, it's during our 5-day challenge, we're talking about inflammation. During the one-on-one calls, we're getting specific and figuring out what's causing their inflammation in that specific case. Whether we're talking big picture or little picture, God is in the details. We have to be as detailed as necessary to ferret out, to dig deeply enough so we can understand all the things that are causing inflammation so that we can address them and allow the body to work like it's supposed to. Because the gut and the metabolic system is the beginning and end of it all. It helps the body heal. It controls immune function. Many people think, I'll pick on PPIs, so antacids, Prevacor, Prevacid, all of they actually cause massive problems. They increase your risk of cognitive decline dramatically, your risk of Alzheimer's dramatically, because it messes up the acid balance in your stomach. Most patients don't know that. Most physicians don't know that, or they wouldn't be prescribing them like candy. That's something that we have to look for. That's something that we ask about when we're talking about metabolic inflammation, because that's a clue, that's a flag that needs to be addressed so that we can reduce the inflammation low enough, long enough, so that the body can increase its circulation and then get the blood flow out to the nerves so they can repair the damage to the myelin sheath. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Look forward to seeing you, whether it's in a challenge or one-on-one consultation. We are always here to help patients. We're always here to answer questions, because asking the questions and getting the answers is how we figure out what needs to be done to address the 3 systems in neuropathy that are affected and get a lasting solution as opposed to temporary relief. Thank you and have a great day.